Hello everybody, welcome. So, today we're gonna do something a little bit different. We will just see how this goes because I'm not sure if there'll be light language that comes through today. You know, if I'm being quite honest, you guys, the last several days, I don't know about you guys, but it has been just so much energy. And this is cosmically speaking, of course, with the eclipse and with, the conjunction, the planetary alignments. However, personally as well, oh my goodness, so many shifts, so many what we call quantum leaps that I've been undergoing in the past several days that really just has me oftentimes not even aware, am I awake, am I asleep, is this a dream, is this not? This is one of those moments right now. So we'll see, maybe there will be some codes that come through today, but it's really important to talk about grounding, you guys, and just have a video where we are more grounded, we're more representing our grounded nature as human beings, okay? This is a parallel with people who don't even work with light work in this sort of way. People who are just very career driven, who maybe don't prioritize a personal life. We need to establish balance. Balance is one of the core principles of life, of humanity, of this universe, and we absolutely need to make that a priority every single day, especially when we are participating in so much of these light activations. And remember, if you are a match to this, it's because if you're a match to these videos, these transmissions, this Patreon specifically, let alone the YouTube videos, you are meant to be, you have aligned with rapid acceleration, rapid integration. This is something that's part of what you have intended for yourself consciously, or that you have just aligned with vibrationally. So we're here to bridge. We're not here to forget about our human nature. We're not here to sever our connection to our human selves and just become these spiritual beings. We're human and we're here to be human for a reason. And that's an important note. I think it's something that so many of us need to remember. We have to remember that we incarnated as humans to be human beings, and the ascension effort is here to bridge our human nature, ground those light forces that we already are. Remember, these light beings are existing already. I have connected with various of you in the astral realm so many times, regularly. And you guys, up there, our awareness is intact. We know what we're doing for the most part, depending on what dimension of awareness we are. We exist in all dimensions simultaneously. Okay, think of it like a pile of papers. Each paper represents a different frequency. It's just a different layer of who we are as human beings. Who we are as light beings. We have just chosen to integrate that light essence and that light being with our physical human nature. Okay, we decided to embody that here in the third dimension, and in doing so, speaking of rapid acceleration, rapid integration, rapid expansion, there's no other opportunity of integration and expansion as a soul, as here in this third dimensional physical Earth. Earth offers us the most powerful opportunity to expand our souls than any other opportunity in the rest of the universe. This is why Earth has the most focus in the entire universe right now, is because being extensions of the universe at large, we are also the leading effort of expanding the universe as well, based on our unique natures, based on our unique perspectives. All of us being and embodying our unique truths and our unique nature is what inevitably expands the universe at large. So I say this just to remind us of, and this is a channeled effort here, I'm being guided to talk about this. Us being human is arguably the most powerful and important effort in the entire universe. This is why it's so important to remember our human nature, not negate the human experience for etheric experiences. It's about integrating both of them. To be honest, you guys, I see so many other starseeds, light workers who are doing tremendous work. However, there is just such an emphasis on all things light work that we forget about the real work. We forget about the human work. That we forget about how our awareness of that is already up there, and what we're here to do is ground those understandings, ground those principles, ground that knowledge and awareness here in the physical to allow us as our physical creator beings to navigate the life that we intended for ourselves. And we do that through our curiosity, through inspiration, through inspired actions, motivations. There are so many individuals, in this work. We're so severely wounded by, our traumas, by distressing experiences from childhood that just keep duplicating, right? 0 to 7 just keeps repeating itself. That core age gap of 0 to 7, those things that impress upon us at that particular age is so, it just shapes the rest of our lives and informs the things that we're guided to. And for many of us, being guided to this light work is simply, a lot of it, or I should say, has to do with just negating those really painful experiences that we don't want to have to face, that we don't want to take a look at. Remember, it's not about re-experiencing all that stuff. We think that by, recalling those experiences, it's not about going back into it, It's about cultivating a understanding, cultivating self-awareness, soul growth through the human-based experiences that we have endured that have been both positive and negative. It just so happens that the distressing experiences of our lives are what informs the bigness of our soul. It informs the way in which we expand into who we are. It informs the way we navigate our human experience. And the things that we go on to create are always informed by those initial experiences of our childhoods. So I want to bring us back down to earth a little bit, just so that we can remember that. And also, simultaneously, not negating the non-physical as well. Being that you guys are a part of this Patreon group, I know that you guys prioritize that light work already, for the most part. Just being a part of this group, you've signed up and you have set a really powerful intention to expand in ways that most humans haven't even gone on to consciously pursue that effort yet. But you have, so let's recognize just how incredible and how powerful that is, while simultaneously remembering who we are, remembering our inner children. Who were we as children, What was our most beautiful and blissful and inspiring experiences? If you take those blissful, empowering, beautiful, magical, illuminating experiences from childhood that represent us the most heartbursting moments of our lives, and you were to sort of connect the dots at various stages of our lives when we felt those things, if you connect those, it will always point in the direction of our truth, your unique truth. So for all the light work that we do, you guys, remember we have to integrate this light awareness with our physical, human, temporal selves, our temporal minds. Otherwise, there is no connection. It's just a huge split, you know? So what we're gonna do today on Being Guided is doing some of that transmutation work, transmuting some of that negative energy, some of those experiences that our thoughts, that our minds have attached to, that is inhibiting that bridge. Maybe there's a lot of fear or reluctance or apprehension to making that connection. Remember, we're not unearthing things that we've already gone through and endured as children. We're not here to do that. I'm not saying that. We've already gone through those things, and the way that the universe works is we'll be strategically guided along a path that just causes us to integrate those experiences. But remember, we have to follow a human path in order to do that, okay? So I don't want these activations to be escapism. I really don't. I want it, there's so many beautiful light codes and healings that you can, enjoy from that intention as well. But remember, we're activating. What are we activating? Yes, we're activating our light bodies, incrementally, but we're also activating our purposes and our missions and our truths. That's what I mean by purpose and mission, just our truth here in the physical world, so that we can use that truth to go on to do and expand in the way that we were meant to, and expand the world and ourselves, and beautiful and empowering and exciting and enthusiastic and just wondrous ways. When I say that, it's just because the process of doing this is what allows us to make the most out of this human experience, allows us to have these experiences of ecstasy and wonder and bliss and power. You have the ability to have literally everything that you want, but we have to integrate that. We have to bridge that gap. So I appreciate you guys just letting me talk briefly about that emphasis here. If there is no spiritual grounding, if there is no foundation of a human-based spiritual practice, of self-awareness, that's what it's about, you guys, when I talk about these practices. We have to be conscious and aware of our human natures as well. Our tendencies, our impulses, our shadows, we're not bringing our shadows back up. We're not unearthing them. We're just illuminating those shadows with our light of consciousness so that we can be a fully rounded being. Not just human being, or not just light being. Okay, you have to understand that life is about a series of experiences that we can choose to accept or deny. And denying it, we're denying our power, we're denying our growth. Accepting it, we are integrating awareness. We are expanding our souls and raising our frequency, our human frequency, to that one that is closer to our light beings. And that makes this part just that we experience in light language and some of those ascension symptoms that we get just seem a lot more easy and, yes, less arduous. This process also eliminates ailments and illness. Remember, these illnesses and diseases and manifestations of traumatic events in any form, even physical trauma to our bodies, all start on a vibrational level. Where are we vibrating emotionally and mentally? What are we giving off on a day-to-day basis? That thing that you're thinking about right now that you're like, shoot, he's talking about that part of me that I didn't want to have to ever deal with again. Well, I'm not asking you to deal with it. I'm just asking you to accept that experience for what it was or what it currently is and move through it, because it is the universe calling you into a state of integration, into a state of expansiveness, openness, receptivity, and guidance. They're clearing the way to allow you to just be in your unique nature, to make life easier. That's what this whole thing is about, just to make our lives easier. We come on, especially us people who identify as being spiritual people, we think that there is some righteous purpose for all of us. Well, newsflash, guys, we're literally here to have a fun experience. And the more that we take action toward joyful, fun experiences, the more that we are aligned with our purpose, right? The more we are in alignment, and the more that we are pursuing our grander purpose of expanding the world, expanding the universe, expanding consciousness, raising the vibration of the planet, starts with ourselves. And think about it, what is the highest frequency of all? It is joy. So it's not about these things that we have to do. One of my favorite sayings is we're human beings, not human doings, and it's so applicable in this situation. We're here to be who we are, and who we are is not people that are resistant in nature. We're not angry people by nature. We're not vengeful people by nature. We don't have a bone to pick with the world and society in this way by nature. That's usually just our trauma that has informed actions or perspectives in our lives, remember? And by carrying those things out, that is a way that, if you were to complete the cycle of that, what would happen is you would eventually integrate that awareness, So I'm not saying forget about those things. I'm just saying that everything that we experience in our lives is calling us further into ourselves, into integration of our light bodies and physical bodies, and calling us into a state of alignment with the universe. Every single thing that happens to us, every experience that we endure, is here to teach us a lesson, inform something about us. Everything around us is a teacher, not just me. Even the sky, even the trees, even the floor, even the chair informs something about you. What is your relationship to the chair? Well, the chair is next to me. I know I'm not the chair. I know the chair is not me. There's things to learn from everything, but we just have to be courageous enough to take a look at it and understand that the world is not out to get us. It's not out to harm us. The things that happen to us are causing us to just open our hearts more. And the reason why we feel pain is because we're restricting that light that wants to enter our hearts. We're restricting light, period. When I look at someone's field who's just so bombarded by their mental activity and by thoughts and situations in life that they're just like, oh, this keeps happening to me, and this happens to me too, and this, oh, like I can't get, like this money is not coming in because of so and so. What, it's literally visible in their field, right? I'm an extrasensory, so when I'm looking at somebody's field, I can see that, okay, the reason why this is not coming into them is because that's this part of their field right here, right? Or right here, there is a lack of light there. And it's about transmuting that energy from that space that's usually tied to mental attachments so that we can shift our thoughts into a way of inviting that light into that part of our being. Because if we were just like, okay, for example, there's a pocket right here that I should invite more light into, which I actually have transmuted that energy before. But for example, that would manifest in probably self-doubt, for example. And if I were to trace that backward, where did that self-doubt come from? Okay, that I would be taken to a childhood experience. If I hadn't already done work around this particular, pocket or pocket of lack of light in this corner here, if I hadn't already done that, I'd be taken back to probably a childhood trauma of an experience that caused me to believe that I can't trust my own power, or I shouldn't trust my own nature. Okay, and maybe that is an experience of literally like just something that happened with you and your mom. It usually is mom and dad, let's be honest. It always starts there. And those traumas between the ages of 0 and 7, those very impressionable years, just keep duplicating. Just keep duplicating 0 and 7, 0 to 7, 0 to 7, and keep amplifying and keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger until we forget where it actually originally came from. So for example, there's light here. There is lack of light here. So we just want to literally visualize light. Visualize light just coming in. Until you feel a sense of completion. You can do this with yourselves as well, and the parts of our field that feel the most stubborn, that we're like, okay, for some reason I just can't let light in there. That's because there is trauma. There is an experience that was so traumatic for us that it caused us to think thoughts that divert light from our field. That's what it's about. So it's about redirecting light back to us with our thoughts, but we can only shift our thoughts if we clear that energy. Clear that energy that impressed on us because of that traumatic experience that caused us to think thoughts that divert that energy from our field. Does that make sense? So it's about like detecting those parts of you can do this with yourself. You can literally do it with other people too. You'll find that when you get good at doing it on yourself, will literally be able to just do it so much easier for other people as well. I'm not for them, but you can see it in their fields, So if I'm looking at somebody, I can easily tell, okay, because I've been doing this so much, I can say, okay, you have an attachment to a particular trauma from when you were 6 years old where your father abandoned you and you didn't feel support from the father. So then you learned a core belief that I'm not supported by men in my life. So once you get down to that core, that root, it's just literally just clear, transmute, clear, transmute. I always start by expanding my fields first, making it bigger, because that just invites you into spirit awareness and also just raises your vibration so that the negative energy of those thoughts don't just start piling in on you. You're remembering, okay, this is an expression of my psyche, right? My thoughts, not my spirit. You can step into what we call, this is what so many spiritual teachers call the observer self, right? Because for those of you who don't know, we are an awareness. We are the awareness of our thoughts. We are not identified as the thoughts, okay? And that's really where the real spiritual journey begins, is upon that separation, that realization of, oh wait, I'm the one that's observing my thoughts. I'm the one that's observing my mind, observing the psyche. So who am I then? If I'm seeing that, then who am I? You know, I'm spirit. And then you just expand that spirit awareness in your field, and then it's very easy to detect, you know, what parts of your field need light. It's about, again, identifying that core belief, that initial experience where that first happened, transmuting that light, transmuting that lack of light, transmuting that energy. So you just say clear, transmute, delete across all time, space, dimensions, realities. Shouldn't take very long. Once that's transmuted, just invite light into that space, direct it right into that space that light was missing, until you feel a sense of doneness, until it feels good. And you're gonna immediately notice that your thoughts are starting to shift, and literally it will take effort to even think about what that traumatic experience was. It will literally take an effort to look at that and be like, what was I, okay, what, you know, it's because it's gone. It's been transmuted. It's been deleted from all time lines, all space, all realities. Okay, guys, so, you know, this is a different kind of video. I know there was no real specific agenda here, but I really wanted to take time just to speak about things that I think that we'd really benefit to understand. Remember, spirituality is not just about energy work. Spirituality is not just about light language, about these codes. It's about the real work, about rooting a spiritual foundation. And if you don't have that, you will feel really ungrounded and feel really like aware of all of these different energies that are influencing you, but not knowing how to move with those energies and take action where it can be shaped in your actual physical life. And that's the goal. We're here to embody and represent our spirit and our souls and the vastness of that we represent, and all of those other dimensions here in the physical. That is your purpose. If you want to know what your purpose is, that's what your purpose is. And then we start intellectualizing about, oh, what is this, you know, what is this about, you know, how can I step into my purpose? What is the details of my purpose? You don't even need to know that. You really don't, because when you have that spiritual foundation and you understand what life is really about, a series of life experiences, that's all life is. It's just a series of experiences that we can choose to accept or deny. That's all that spirituality is. That's all that living a spiritual life is. You will find that you will literally just be guided from your soul and your spirit to various different experiences and synchronicities and relationships and connections with people that just cause you to just unequivocally eventually just know, of course this is who I am. Of course I've been stepping more into who I am all along. And there won't be a question. You won't find your mind surfing for an answer, you know. The mind only does that when it forgets about who it truly is. You are a grand spiritual being, not just an expression of your psyche. Well, guys, that certainly helped me ground a lot, so I appreciate you just sitting with me here and enjoying this conversation. It's one of the most enjoyable things. It is the most enjoyable thing to me in life, is just having these conversations and being able to connect with people like you guys in subject matter that, you know, is just that I'm really passionate about. And this is how I know this is who I am, because it feels right, it feels true, it feels integrated, it feels whole. And there's always energy that is supplying the things that I'm doing or saying. Like in this case, I'm continually being supplied by energy. If you are in a situation where you can feel like you are not being supplied by energy, you are out of alignment, and that is not who you are. So another way of understanding your truth and who you are is about understanding who you are not. You know, the things that are unwanted, the things that, yeah, do not supply you with light, that cause you to feel drained. We understand who we are by understanding who we are not. So really is no such thing as someone that doesn't know who they are, because I can guarantee if I talk to that person, I can find out what they don't like, and if they like, I can find out who they think they are not. If I can figure that out, then that means that they have some awareness of who they actually are as well. So we're already at 30 minutes, guys. We're going to end this video here, and maybe there'll be some more of these to come. I would count on it, you know? I think this is really important to have these conversations and instill some of this foundational work that is crucial, okay? Especially during times like this where there's so much energy coming in. All right, guys, I appreciate you all so much. Thank you. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.